Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cases That Should Have Gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. I'm Kyla Lee at Acumen Law Corporation, and today we're talking about fraud in Indian residential school survivor claims. Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Merchant Law Group was a very big law firm dealing with a large number of claims under the Indian Residential School Survivors Society payment scheme. Unfortunately, it appears from several allegations that a scheme was what was being run by Merchant Law Group. Ultimately, after an accounting of their billing records, it was determined that Merchant Law Group may have engaged in overbilling, fraudulent billing, and taken money that was due to the survivors for their own purposes without the right to do so. They were ultimately sued by the government, and they applied to court to strike the claim in its entirety, which application was dismissed. They appealed, the appeal was unsuccessful, and the Supreme Court of Canada denied leave to hear the issue. And while it's a good thing that the lawsuit against Merchant Law Group is going to continue, and that those who are entitled to their payments as a result of the abuses and the atrocities suffered at residential school are going to receive those, hopefully pending the outcome of the lawsuit, it's problematic that the Supreme Court of Canada didn't give leave to hear the issue. And the reason for that is that there has been a huge historical system of abuses of Indigenous people in this country whereby their legitimate entitlements have been intercepted by greedy or nefarious or fraudulent people. There were histories of this involving the Métis people with scrip fraud, which the Supreme Court of Canada recently gave declaratory relief about. There has been issues with land and reserves. There have been all sorts of examples of this throughout the history of Canada. And this was an opportunity for the Supreme Court of Canada to step in and say enough is enough, and to say why this claim had to proceed. It's not enough to just say, yes, the claim is going to proceed and we're not going to grant leave and delay this any further. The Supreme Court of Canada needed to step in and say, this has to end. We have to put a stop to exploiting Indigenous people now by virtue of exploiting the way that they were exploited and abused throughout history in this country. The Supreme Court of Canada failed to do that. And in some ways, it's perceived as a disappointing way that they perpetuated an abuse by not speaking out against it, by shying away from saying something about the issue. In all likelihood, the lawsuit against Merchant Law Group, if successful, will probably proceed to the Supreme Court of Canada anyway. And my hope is that the appeal, if it makes it there, will be heard by the court, and that the court will say something to show its denunciation of this type of conduct, abusing Indigenous people and their interests in this country. I'm disappointed the Supreme Court of Canada didn't take this case and didn't take the opportunity to denounce what happened here if it is proven that it happened. You're watching Cases That Should Have Gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cases That Should Have Gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. I'm Kyla Lee at Acumen Law Corporation. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and thanks to Brazen Bull Creative for putting together this video.